I believe that the place where you are, you need to sense you belong to it. If you have the connection with those people, you will feel that I have a purpose in this world. All my life, I have been searching for that feeling. When I was small, my family had to escape the Afghan war to Iran. Right from when I was very little, I knew we were different. We were outsiders. We didn't have the same rights as others, the same opportunities as others, and I knew that we are not equal to others. I always dreamed of acceptance, always dreamed of it, that I would be seen in the same way as others. For example, on the streets, when we were playing games, playing with the other neighbors, I told that, yes, I have been watching that children's program, that funny thing that you're talking about, even though we didn't have a TV at home. Yes, we do eat the same food as you do, and yes, we do have the same things as you have at home, even if we didn't have them. And I learned to stay silent if they were mean to me or behaved unjustly towards me, because I wanted to be accepted there in the group of playmates. My whole life in Iran, I was an outsider. I was very lonely. I was still young when my father passed away, and then we got the information that at the time, as my mother was a sole custodian, we have the right to seek asylum in some other country. So we applied via UNICEF, and then after a year, Finland chose us. We had a very good feeling about getting to come to Finland. And yes, I felt it to be a little bit unnerving, as we didn't know a lot about this country, but in the end of the day, we knew that we were going towards a better life. We flew to Finland in September 2012, and I still recall exactly when our plane landed in Rovaniemi. My mother was sitting next to me, and the sun was going down, and it was shining directly in from the airplane window. And my mother looked at it and asked me, "What is that lamp?" I looked at the sun, and I looked at my mother, who was trying to look closely at it. And I said, "Mother, no, it's not a lamp, it's sunlight." At that point, I realized that my mother was not able to see well. And a week later, we found out that mother had become blind. After that, right away, it was found out that she also had cancer. We had hopes that our mother could be healed, but that never happened. And that first year in Finland was the toughest of all, because everything was new, everything was strange, everything was different. We thought it was really strange that the streets were so empty, and then there was a really small forest behind our house, but it scared us, as we heard that there were bears and wolves in the forests in Finland. And we didn't know where those bears and wolves were. Due to this, we were very nervous about all the forests around the city of Rovaniemi. But then it didn't take us long to understand that there aren't bears and wolves in every forest. Those first years in Finland were exciting. Everything was new. I was very curious and adventurous. I wanted to learn. I wanted to explore and know things. I really wanted to learn the language and learn more about the culture and make friends. It was difficult to learn the language, but I enjoyed taking a small step forward every day. So after 3 years, I got the opportunity to study at the Open University through a UN project, and I was really pleased about it. And I was really keen on meeting people there at school. That's when, at the beginning of my studies, I was invited to a Christmas party and I went there looking forward to it. It was really fun and everybody was really kind and nice. But I was troubled by the fact that I didn't understand what they were doing. I couldn't participate in their conversations and I was like from a completely different world there. It was a very hard feeling to realize that outsidership was always with me, ever since childhood. It was always present. And I felt quite lonely there at school. Six months after I started to study in the Open University, my mother got sick again, and then she passed away. After my mother's death, I was lonelier than ever. Mother was very important to me and we were really close. And I had a habit of telling my mother about my day and my mother listened to it keenly. I was very sad, but I had to hide the sorrow. I couldn't show it to anyone. I had two underage brothers. And I had to pretend that all was fine. I had to manage, especially because my younger brothers needed me then. Daily, when the boys went to school, I would lay on the sofa, unable to do anything. And I would look out the window as the neighbors and the people on the street walked down the street and went for a swim, or to the gym, or work, or school. And I couldn't even get up from the sofa. And I stayed on the sofa until the boys came home. Then I would get up and quickly cleaned and made some food, and then I would say, all is well. How was your day? All right? Then when I went to my room in the evening, everything was gloomy and hard. I was very nervous and anxious. And I couldn't tell anybody about it at the time. I was very lonely. I longed for people around me with whom I could talk about things, about deep matters. But I was so sad, so depressed, and so tired that I couldn't even go and meet with my schoolmates. I had nothing to give. I was so gloomy, so sad. And this one time, I was sitting alone in a restaurant, lonely and sad, and I was just staring out the window when an older couple came and asked the owner of the restaurant something. He couldn't answer their question. He was from an immigrant background. So I just went there to help. And then Inga and Pekka and me, we talked for a little bit, and they asked me if I would like to come to their place and eat sometime. And I was like, yeah, why not? It would be nice. A month later, Inga just rang me and invited me over to eat. After that, I went to visit with them every week. And we would cook together, and we always sang and danced with Inga. And I would always fall asleep on their sofa. It was strange that we were from a totally different world. And we had so much to give each other, so much to say, and so many things to talk about. I can't imagine where I would have gotten so much security and help and support and so much love than I got from them. After Inga's death, it was my turn to take care of Pekka and support him. And we became even closer. He is to me the father I did not have, and I am the daughter to him that he did not have. And his home is like my very own home, my father's home, and I'm always looking forward to being there. Whenever I want to calm down or relieve pressure, I go to Pekka in Rovaniemi. And at once, I fall asleep on the sofa. My depression returned every once in a while. Sometimes I was feeling very lousy, but I felt it was difficult to tell anybody about it. I had learned to pretend for a long time that everything is fine with me, that I cope, that I'm strong and proud, but it was too much. For a very long time, I had kept everything inside me. But at some point I realized that I must learn to speak about my feelings. I have wounds in my soul and I must take care of them. I got much help from going to talk about my issues with a professional. I learned to request for help openly and to tell that I wasn't feeling well. It might have been kind of like an important turning point in my life. I wish that I had learned a lot earlier. Life feels very good now that I'm not depressed. For a long time now, I am myself and happy again, and that same smiling and positive person.
Positiivinen ihminen.
I'm currently studying for a professional degree in media, and I have met very good school friends who have become my buddies, just real friends, and they give me a good feeling and more confidence with the language. And that's where I am. We support each other and get along very well. I used to be so nervous about the Finnish circles that I didn't understand everyone and the jokes just went past me. But these days I understand almost everybody and I laugh at their jokes and they get my jokes and I can have deep conversations with them now, which I think is wonderful. I'm very interested in stories and cinema. I really enjoy acting. I like to make films and act, and I am very happy to work in this field. Now everything is fine in my life. I have my siblings, I have found my life partner, I have good friends and a really good job. I belong here. It's curious that since childhood, this is the first time that I feel like I'm no longer an outsider, and I am understood and valued. That's exactly what I dreamed of. In the end, I have finally found it. I feel that my mother is always present and follows our lives and follows our steps in life. And I have promised her that I will live for her. I will have fun in her behalf.